Welcome, Decatur Red Raider fans, to the Red Raider Preview Show, where we discuss all things Red Raider related. We'll recap last week's game, get Coach Ritter's take on this week's game. We will also ask a couple of mystery questions to keep the coach on his toes. Last Friday night was a tough one, as our Red Raiders faced a hard-fought loss against the Buckhorn Bucks. But as always, we're looking ahead and staying focused as we prepare for a big rivalry game against the Austin Black Bears. This will be the 62nd edition of the River City Rumble. We'll be live this Friday night at 6:30 p.m. from Austin High School Stadium. It will be a fantastic Decatur versus Austin showdown. And never, ever forget that today is a great day to be a Red Raider. Now on to the Red Raider Preview Show with John Brent and Coach Ritter.
Welcome to the Red Raider Preview Show, edition number 2 with Coach John Ritter, John Godwin, Brent Collins, Coach Ritter. Before we get started, I do want to give a little shout out to our platinum sponsors that work so hard and to help this program. Evans and Harris PC, Gold Rush Tax, Fluid Engineering, Decatur Coca-Cola Bottling, Melissa and Jamie Penley, Core Construction, United Community Bank, Early Services, Decatur Utilities, David Peak, Geist Pharmacy, John Pilot, Eagle Creek, Culver's, and Dr. Lou Sample. Wanted to run those down. Those are our platinum sponsors for this year, and we thank you for the support that you've done. We're going to start off, Brent. We got a question to ask.
We have the Ritter's ruminations. Is that how you say it?
Rumination.
We've created a new term. So the ruminations.
That's not a new term.
Is that not a new term?
No, that's a term.
What's that mean?
It's his thoughts.
Your thoughts.
Yeah. What do you think about this? He's going to ruminate on something.
Okay. So we wanted to be a little general and generic in, what does a week look like in game planning? Specifically this week, if we want to be more specific on the opponent, we're obviously city rivalry, and in the past 10 years they've had our number. But just talk through the game planning, what the week looks like for the guys, and then maybe what a game day looks like.
Yeah,
and to that game day, one thing my son was most excited about was having 4 paid meals.
Yeah, we fed them a lot Friday, maybe too much. We come in on Sunday, the coaches, and we work from about 1 to 7, breaking down obviously the last week's game, and then focusing on this week, which will be Austin. Try to come up with a plan to put our guys in a position to make some plays. Monday morning they'll come in at 7, and we'll go through Buckhorn again and kind of watch it with them and point out some things that we did well and point out some things that we need to work on. And then we'll jump right into Austin, and we'll go out for about a 16-period practice Monday morning. We've got a JV game Monday night, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is all at 7 in the morning with some meeting time, lifting, and then practice. During first block, and it's very regimented. It's very minute by minute schedule, but I think we're very organized, and I think we get a lot done. And then on Friday, it's an absolute circus. And that's everywhere. I mean, this is my 4th head job at 4 different schools, and all Fridays are the same. I mean, and, we have a great game day breakfast brought to us by Decatur Methodist, and it was unbelievable. And then we're going to feed them a pregame meal. And whenever we play out longer than about 45 minutes, we're going to feed them a postgame meal too. So, trying to take care of our kids and, treat them right, especially if we're going to do the work. Now, they start slacking Monday through Thursday, then some of the meals finna get cut out.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Well, let me ask you this, does it make a difference of being a rival game versus a non-rival game?
A competitor's going to say no. Yeah. To me, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You should give it.
That's the answer you're supposed to give.
That's the coach answer. But no. I mean, to a kid, Austin's it's a huge game. It's they're friends. It's people that live in the same town. It's a game that historically has always been, one of those games circled on everybody's schedule in Northwest Alabama, not just Decatur. So I think it does mean more because it's bragging rights within the city.
And let me ask you about the fact back when I played, maybe when you played, and when you were here first go around as a kid with your dad. I mean, Decatur and Austin was in the same classification, same region. So, you were a lot of times playing for region or area wins on that. Does it make a difference in the rivalry with them being 7A, larger classification? They got a larger pool of kids to play. I mean, 6A versus 7A, is that something that goes into a thought with you and making it a little less competitive? I mean, with...
No, I think it makes us raise our level of expectations. You know, anytime you jump a class, 5A to 6A, it's a jump. 6A to 7A is a jump. You know, you have to raise preparation. You have to raise the speed in which you play, you know, and that can be tough, especially in a new system, because we still got guys thinking instead of reacting. And, you know, the speed of the game is faster the higher it goes. And, you know, I didn't understand that. Probably as a player, I played in 3A at Lauderdale County, you know, but then I've been the head coach at Red Bay. I've been an assistant at Deschler, at Muscle Shoals when we were 5A, 6A. You know, head coach at West Morgan when we were 3A, head coach at Russellville in 5A, and now 6A. So I've been at every classification except for 7. And every class is different. It's different in the size kids, and it's different in the speed of the game. And so playing Austin should help us get into this region schedule the week following, because we should have to play at a faster speed, you know, than we would last week against Buckhorn. And you know why that is, I don't know, but it is.
Well, speaking about Buckhorn, let's get a recap on the game Friday night. Give me some overall thoughts that you had.
You know, in the moment, and this is one thing we've always told our kids, it's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. And when you get a chance to kind of digest it, and you start watching film, and you watch it, I think I've watched it about 8 times since Friday. We did a lot of good stuff. You know, the thing that we're preaching, and we're preaching it every day, is consistency. We have to do the same thing over and over and over right. And we're not talented enough to do things wrong. We're not fast enough to do things wrong. You know, we can't, on defense, jump around blocks. We can't scrape wrong. You know, so when we did things right on defense Friday night, we stopped them. You know, some of the things that we got gashed on, it wasn't necessarily they were better than us. Now, number 2 was better than us at times. But it was scraping wrong. It was not taking on blocks the right way. It was jumping outside when we're supposed to be inside. It was jumping inside when we're supposed to be outside. And kind of the same thing offensively. You know, we always had a different guy kind of messing up, if that makes sense. You know, when we put it all together, we moved the ball right down the field. You know, you can't stall out 5 times in the 20 and expect to win. And even with all of that, we had a chance throughout the game to make it a 1-score game, right, or to tie it at times, and to get beat by 14, while it's frustrating, I think it also shows the potential that's there. When we do things right, when we do things at a high level, we have an opportunity to do some good, to win, and to put ourselves in a position to win. But I think it also shows when we do things wrong, we're not very good. And, you know,
you can't afford to not be.
Correct. You can't afford not to be where you're supposed to be. And that's the tough part about a transition. And that's things that we're going to talk about for the entirety of the year. Is it comes down to trust. It comes down to repetition. You know, the beautiful thing about this Monday is it'll be the same Monday that we had last week. The beautiful thing about Athens, week, what is that, 11 or 10 or whatever it is, the last game of the year, the Monday will be the same, the Tuesday will be the same, you know, and so that repetition that we're preaching is also should lead to some consistency.
Well, and two, you talked a little bit of offense and defense. Special teams was big.
Yeah.
You know, that gave us a score on a punt return. And
I'll tell you, the way Trey went back on that, it probably made a lot of people nervous. But he had confidence to go back and make that catch, and then he just outran everybody.
I think, but the punt team, I thought the punt team was effective. There were a couple of punts that didn't go very far, but limited returns, that sort of thing. I thought the special teams did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and I left them out, not on purpose, but I thought special teams, with the exception of a blocked extra point, were pretty consistent. I thought, we got Bryson Taylor, who's never played before, as our punter, but he's got a strong leg, and you saw when he took a big old deep breath and took his time and kicked the ball like he can kick it. you know, we averaged about 40, 42 yards a punt, you know, with the exception of the one that he skied. You know, kickoff return was solid. Kickoff was solid with the exception of, you know, we had a ninth grader get out of his lane, you know, but here again, you know, that's going to happen because A, he's never played in a varsity football game, and then B, you know, it was new for everybody. You know, you can replicate special teams, and we try to do a good job, but it's different going best on best in special teams. But overall, I was very pleased, and you know, Trey, he's a gutsy son of a gun. He caught two that I probably would have fair caught, but he took one under the house, and the other one was about a 10-yard gain.
I figured one of the things that we always ask about game balls, and Trey is definitely a game ball. Anybody else that you think of that you might give a game ball to?
Defensively, I thought Casey Justice played outstanding. You know, here again, a sophomore.
He's flying around.
Yeah. He was physical. You know, he misscraped a couple times, but here again, you know, first game to start as a sophomore. You know, offensively, I thought Carrington Bell, last year, you know, I think he might have played 8 snaps, and he played about 45 last night or Friday night and had multiple catches, did a great job stalking, and was really a consistent guy that had played defense up until about 6 practices ago.
All right, last question about the Buckhorn game. Other than bumps and bruises and the regular stuff, any injuries that would affect anybody playing this week?
Not real sure. We'll figure out some of that Monday. We had a couple guys go to the doctor, but I think for the most part, with the exception of Dylan Martin, who kind of got rolled up and didn't finish, everybody was pretty healthy after the game, and hopefully Dylan's going to be a day-to-day type thing, and we'll know more Monday when we get some results from doctor's appointment Saturday.
One more thing about Trey and on the defensive pick 6, it almost seemed like he was reading the quarterback. He kind of ducked down and
baited him.
He baited him. Is that something that had been adjusted from a coach's move, that talking to Trey, or he just being an athlete, a little bit of both, or what?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, hey, you know, we played a lot of 2 high early in the game, and we spun late to play some 1 high and funnel everything inside. And, you know, Trey did an excellent job of not chasing number 2, who went on a shallow immediately, and got back out and, you know, really did what he was coached to do. Coach Meadows coaches those guys that play rolled down and does a really good job. You know, so I think it was a perfect storm. It was a great adjustment that we made, but it was also a guy doing what he's coached to do, and you know, not chasing the shallow route and getting under number 1.
Well, kudos to him. I don't know if you watched the post-game interview with him, but he was
You were trying to dump the whole team on him, and he wouldn't have it.
He wouldn't have it. He was so humble, and he said, "Hey man, it's all my teammates with me." So I mean, you got a good leader in Trey, and hopefully we can continue that and keep him healthy. And I think as the season goes on, you peppered him in there in the offense, so he's going to be in there a lot.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, you know, him and Quaylen and Caden Watkins too, you know, those 3 guys that played up some snaps for us offensively, and we're trying not to take away what we're doing defensively, but at the same time we're trying to get some playmakers the ball. And you know, I think Trey played about maybe 14 or 15 snaps, but he was targeted 7 out of 14, and that was our goal, was to get him 7 or 8 targets. You know, we got to do a better job of getting him the ball now, and not just making him a primary.
Austin Black Bears. Let's fast forward to this week and the rivalry. We talked a little bit about it. You know, they're coming off a big win, overtime win against Hartselle. I think it was at Hartselle.
I was hoping both of them would lose.
Well, I didn't. I'm sure you've watched our game 8 times. I'm not sure how much you watched their game, but what were some takeaways from that game, and maybe how we can help it in our preparation?
Yeah, you know, Austin is huge up front offensively. The Fuqua kid is committed to UNA, I think. Really, really good player. The quarterback's a really good player, and the Potter kid, number 5. And then there are other guys that probably aren't getting as much recognition or are fast. You know, so it's really kind of the perfect storm offensively of big up front and fast in the skill spots. And then defensively, they're replacing, I think, nine starters. You know, number 0 flipped over from offense to safety and is a really good player. I think they're very inexperienced on defense, but they're fast, they're aggressive. Coach Perkins does a really good job, and that's one thing that, probably during his tenure there, they're very consistent, and they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And when you're big and fast, and you're well coached, that creates issues.
So Jeremy Perkins, you talked about him. What year is this for him at Austin? It's over 10, right? I mean,
15. I think he's 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah. So he's obviously turned that program around and made those kids believe they can win. So the offense, the defense you talked about, they're bringing a lot of replacement guys, but special teams, is there anybody that stands out to you on that returning the ball?
Yeah, very solid kicker. I thought Hartzell did a really good job of limiting their returns, and so we didn't get to see a great deal of their return guys because of Hartzell's scheme, punt and then kickoff. It's kind of the same thing. They're going to be solid. They're going to be solid across the board. I think us being solid in the special teams kind of negates that too. Because the thing about the Austins of the world, the Hartzels of the world, the games that are going to be big games emotionally, it's, where do you crack first? Do you crack and give up big plays on defense? Do you turn the ball over? Is it a block punt? Is it a return, here or there? That's what really kind of bust games open that are normally going to be pretty close. And, we're going to have to do a really outstanding job. We've got to have a great week of preparation. We're going to have to limit our mistakes because, defensively, when you make a mistake, Fuqua takes it to the house. And, kind of the same thing offensively. We got to hang on the ball. We've got to, get some first downs. When we take shots, which, we took 9 shots against Buckhorn and we were 0 for 9. If you count the fade to Quaylen, we were 1 for 10. And you don't have to be 80%, but you can't be 10%. And it's somewhere a healthy, maybe 35% effective rate there to be successful. And, we got to hit a couple shots to do what we need to do to be successful.
We do take the short trip over and the little yellow buses. I think the last time we were at Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, John, it's the first time we had beat them in 8 or 9 years. Is that right? Is that when we got
something like that? I try not to think of how many times, but yeah. but I think we won that.
This is our second road game. Is it? You going to play it the same way?
Yeah. Obviously going to Buckhorn is strategically a nightmare because of 565 and Winchester Road. Obviously going to Decatur or to Austin from Decatur High School is going to be so much easier. So, I think the preparation side on our part doesn't have to be as rushed. We get to kind of take our time coming back from the pep rally. Pre-game meal doesn't have to be as rushed, and then going over, we can actually go over in our pants because it's a 6-minute ride as opposed to a 56-minute ride, and so I think it's going to make the travel process a little easier, and the fact that our kids have done it now. You kind of take for granted when you're somewhere for so long. Kids know your routine, they know the routine, and then when you come somewhere new, you have to coach everything. We had to coach our kids how to pack their travel bag the way we wanted it packed, how to load the trailer the way we wanted it done, because there's a standard in everything that we do, not just football. There's a standard in how we prepare with film. There's a standard of how we go to the pep rally. I mean, we're learning all of that, which for me is a little bit frustrating at times because you feel like that you shouldn't have to coach a kid how to pack his travel bag, but you do, and we did, and I think we'll be better at that.
Well, it's going to be week 2, and they're going to be better at it week 2. So
that's one of the things I will say this. I was impressed that we came out the second half, and it wasn't like the first half. It looked like we grew up some from half to half, and we were a lot better in the second half. It's just we got in the red zone how many times? Need to score.
Absolutely.
But it was to me, it looked like y'all did a good job settling everybody down, getting them in the right spot more often than not, and we had better success.
Well, you talked about Casey Justice too, and he's a 10th grader, and I every time I turned around, I felt like, well, he's a 10th grader. He's a 10th grader. I mean, we've talked about this team being
He ain't
young.
no 10th grader anymore.
He's a 10th grader with 1 game experience.
That's right. That's right.
Not to cut you off.
And that was a little bit of we had 9 guys on offense who stepped foot on the field as a starter for the first time.
Yeah.
We had guys on defense You know, Trey Green was a great example. Trey played offense last year. So while he played a different position Friday night than he played the year before. You know, Caden Watkins, same thing. We moved him and Lewis around during the game to kind of, you know, add some familiarity, some comfort level to them. But I thought we did come back out the second half, and, you know, defensively we gave up 6 points. Offensively we had 3 opportunities. You know, that if we get points, now we're talking about, you know, do we win by 7? Do we win by 3? You know, do we kick 2 field goals and score and win by 1? You know, what's the difference in the game if we're able to punch one in instead of stalling
get
out?
over that hump.
Absolutely.
Just needed to get over.
Well, I know y'all are going to have a strong week of preparation this week, and looking forward to Friday night. And now we get to segue into
the mystery
John's
question.
favorite part of the coaches show.
We got mystery questions.
But before we go there, I want
be
to
looking on my sheet.
I want to talk about our diamond sponsors. Again, this would not be possible without our diamond sponsors, but J.W. McCool Home Inspection Services, BCA General Contractors, B&B Roofing, Prodigy Service Incorporated, Decatur Morgan Hospital, Impact Sales and Service, Stovall Marks Insurance, PM Nutrition, and J&M Signs. So,
Not hit him.
I'm ad-libbing on this. He wrote some examples, but don't know that you do Snapchat. But you may or may not know about Snapchat. But what would be your emoji? If you're building your emoji on Snapchat, what would that look like?
Well, I'm on Snapchat because I try to keep tabs with these kids and any stupidity that we can avoid. But I don't know how to make an emoji. I really.
You have not made an emoji. I bet it might look a little bit. You might have a Decatur Red Raider hat on.
Yeah, and it probably have Nike shirt on because I like comfort. I'm built for comfort, and yeah.
Can your wife not help you make the emoji? Or
No.
You hadn't asked her?
Hadn't asked her. I'm the tech savvy guy in our family.
Okay. All right. So I didn't do my emoji either. My son did my emoji. So
I don't even know what that is. Anyway, go ahead.
all right. Favorite meal and why?
Favorite meal. I like a good steak cooked at home because I cook
At home?
At home.
Okay.
Because I cook it better than everybody
How
else.
do you prepare it? Because really, that's what makes the steak.
So there was this at Big Star in Russellville. They make this stuff called gunpowder.
Okay.
I don't know what's in it.
It's black. I've seen
Black and silver and
Gut powder?
gunpowder.
I got some at my house.
Put some olive oil on there, put a thick coat of that gunpowder, and cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes on each side so it's medium rare, and go to town.
So do you get the butcher to cut your steak, or you just get what's there?
Well, it kind of depends. I got to find a butcher here because I like going to a fresh butcher shop. But you know, if I can find a good,
we can find you one, and
Good
we'll
mark.
start promoting them on the show.
Holloway's used to have some good steaks back in the day. When I worked at West Morgan, I would always stop there on the way home.
All right, I'm gonna skip the soft drink. I don't.
Sun Drop.
He was Sun Drop.
Yeah, all day, every day. I love Sun Drop.
All right, favorite TV show, and is it on Netflix or is it on regular?
Favorite TV show?
Yeah. Do you
I'm not real big into TV.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll watch. Me and Lauren will watch documentaries and stuff, and Netflix, I guess, more than anything. But she likes to pick so that she'll actually watch it. TV show. I like some unsolved mysteries. So whatever cable I've got has unsolved mysteries running continuously, and I'll watch it for hours and hours.
I'm with you. I don't watch TV, but I do watch Fox News. So.
And I like the old school Robert Stack unsolved mysteries. I mean, I don't like the new ones that are on Netflix.
All right, John.
All right,
I get to kick it to you.
My turn. Do you have or have you ever had a nickname?
No, never had a nickname. Just
What did they call you in high school, elementary school?
Ritter.
They called me Godwin all the time. I never knew my name was John.
Last name, all the way.
So you're a last name guy.
Yeah, all the way to UNA, all the way. I mean, coaching buddies. I mean, it's always been Ritter. I've never been called John.
Okay, and you're a HN, right?
Yep.
Okay, me too. All right, if somebody looked at your Apple Music history or whatever you listen to, who would be the last five groups that you listen to?
Last five.
Last five, like, or I could say, what genre is it? Country, rap?
It's kind of all over the place. So I listened to Zach Top on the way in.
Who?
Zach Top. You need to look him up. He opened for Laney Wilson a couple weeks ago.
So that would be country?
Country.
Did you go to that show?
We did.
Okay.
So that was my daughter's Christmas present.
Man, I heard that was incredible.
We did. So we actually went to South Haven, Mississippi, because when we bought the tickets, we were living about hour and 45 minutes from there.
Gotcha.
Now we're 2 hours and 45 minutes. But no, so Laney Wilson actually dates Devlin Hodges, who I coached.
Oh, really?
For about 6 months at Mortimer Jordan, and we kept up with each other. When I got the job here, he came and spent all day with me. So Lauren was able to, or Lillian was able to go get her picture made with Devlin, who played for the Steelers, played at Sanford.
Okay.
So we kind of got a personal connection there. So if Zach Top's my last one, and then it depends on who's picked. If it's Lillian, it's going to be Laney Wilson. On Thursday, we had a flag football game, so we were listening to Little John and the Eastside Boys to fire Lincoln up for his flag football game. We're kind of all over the place, Apple Music now.
So we're getting to know each other, okay? One thing you don't know about Johnny asked you about a nickname. Did you know he was in a band?
He looks like he'd be in a band.
He was in a band.
Not recently.
You know what his nickname was? Well, it was the name of the band. Otis and the Elevators, right?
That's right.
And what was your...
I played the bass.
You played the bass?
It was a fraternity band.
And didn't you wear like a white suit and with green feathers on it?
Chef's hat. No. I'll give you some pictures.
So all right, so Lauren sings in a band. She sings in Tremaine. And then Derek, of course, plays a lot of solo shows. So he's a guitarist, and Lauren's a singer. You get the bass. All we got to do is find the drummer.
Well,
hey, we got Mr. Poovey. I can find...
You would be amazed at how many songs there are with 3 bass notes. That's all I knew was 3 bass notes. All right, enough of that. So you're not a jazz guy, or you're not a...
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I won't hold that against you. Last question, and this is probably the biggest one of all.
Oh, jeez.
Boxers or briefs?
Good Lord.
Huh? It's got to be briefs, man.
It's box. Tommy
No!
John. Tommy John
Yeah,
boxes.
you're old school, man.
That's the best.
Yes,
best
you were
underwear
old
ever.
school, John. You might be the last guy in
y'all?
Decatur.
You rocking them old school Hain Mighty Patties. I knew it.
Yeah?
Lord.
Well, hey, this has been a good show. I think we're about time.
Are you going to introduce these guys behind the camera?
Well, listen, we had so many comments from our fans, listeners, about the production, about what it looks like, what it sounds like. I know we fought through some adversity early on, but Joe Botto and Tim McCullum has changed what we're doing and getting to bring it into your house. So we appreciate y'all's support.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and I thought it was really good. It's first class. Great picture, great sound. I mean,
so one of the 8, was that actually the YouTube feed, or was that the 9th time?
that was probably the 9th time.
Okay.
I watched it last.
Okay.
Just to make sure y'all didn't say anything silly.
Why?
You'd have to reprimand us.
All right, even though this is Sunday, we got all week to go to prepare for this big game we got on Friday. So let's go get us some black bears. How about
Absolutely.
that?
It's going to be exciting. I'm excited.
This has been the Red Raider Preview Show, and with Coach John Ritter, and we'll go back
It's a great day.
It's a great day to be a Red Raider.
That's right.